Kahala, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Brakatahu, Brakatahu Shai, Brakatahu, Brakatahu Shai, Brakatahu, Brakatahu Shai, the water, Abba Babal, called Kadash. I like to give the honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone that teach this truth, the 100% truth. Do a lesson today, man. It's going to be basically talking about Eve, the women of our nation. And we call her Eve because, it goes all the way back to Genesis. And Eve, and mainly the so-called black women, but really all nations of our tribe, man, they're going to be ensnared. They're going to be entrapped by Esau Edom. Eve has been complicit with all the wicked that's been going on here in Babylon the Great and all throughout the world, man. Eve loves to be rebellious. She doesn't like to be obedient, in control. She likes to be loose and be able to do whatever she wants to do. She likes disorder. And that's what Esau provides, a world of disorder and chaos where you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want to do, as long as you don't break his laws. And then, depends on what laws that he wants to enforce, you're able to do whatever you want to do, pretty much in the society. And Eve loves that freedom. The Bible says, give not our women freedom, man. Freedom to go abroad, because the woman should always have a hedge over her. Because you allow her to just react and do things of her own, man, she's going to destroy herself. And therefore she's going to destroy our nation, because she's the first rear of the kids, But and I just noticed that our women they don't like any type of order, They don't want any type of systems of control. And we have to have those systems of control, because that's what separates us from beasts, from the wild beasts of the field. We have a system that was given to us by Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai. We have these laws, statutes, commandments that we're supposed to abide by. And in those commandments, it tells a woman to be in order, she's supposed to play a certain role, a certain position. She's supposed to be a helpmeet to her man. Well, in this society, our women look at that as being something of being a slave to her man. And really, she is a slave to her man, as we are slaves to, the men are slaves to Yahweh Shai. The Lord has set up a pecking order. It's Yahweh Shai, the man and the woman. And we're supposed to be obedient to those that the Lord has put over us. If he has set it the other way, where the man's supposed to be up under a woman, then so be it. We have to go by that. That's how the Lord has laid it out. But that's not how he laid it out. And it calls for obedience and order, man. And so the men has to be in order up under Yahweh Shai. We have to follow these laws, statutes, commandments, because we went off and we separated ourselves from our power and we became wicked. Then Yahweh Shai turned his back on us, man. And then therefore, our women are doing the same thing to us, especially the nigger woman, the so-called black woman. They have really turned her back on the men, and the Lord has orchestrated that up. Because, like I said, we went off from the beginning, as the men, because first of all, we gave our power over to a woman. And that goes back to Adam and Eve, where Adam, he was listening to Eve, who was beguiled by the serpent, which the serpent is not talking about a literal snake, but a physical person, man. And the apple was reference to these philosophies or ways of outside of our laws, our laws, statutes, commandments. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. That's Proverbs chapter 31, verse 3. So we're not supposed to give our strength unto a woman. We're supposed to follow and obey the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. And a woman is supposed to be our helpmeet, not who we supposed to give strength and be worshipped behind these women. Because in this society, it teaches and it puts the women to be a head over a man in this society, man, in this type of matriarchal society that they have created here, mainly here in Babylon the Great. But they try to spread this philosophy and this thing all over the world, man, where they try to push the women to be the head. So we're still in the book of Proverbs, and we're going to go Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10. We're just going to kind of read on down. Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is above riches? The heart of a husband doth safely trust in her, so that she shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil in all the days of her life. So her man should be her main focus, man, not her job, not the ways of society, because a lot of these women nowadays been so trained and programmed to chase after the bag, man, chasing after career, neglecting and put aside, her family, her man, which her man is supposed to be her top priority. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil in all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchants. She is like the merchant ships, which bringeth her food from afar. She rises also early while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. Because the women in our kingdom, man, and when we come back into power, man, our women, which are going to be our helpmeets, our wives, man, they're going to have handmaids up under them, man. It's going to be so much more blessed, man, than what they are striving to work for in this society, man. Because right now, society has our women on a damn hamster wheel, man, going nowhere fast, man. And they've just been used as a tool to help destroy the Israelite family. The whole setup, that Yahweh put in place. Then you hear a lot of people, with this argument saying that, well, the Bible is outdated because now a man and a woman has to work. Her role has changed over the years because they have separated themselves from our power, man, from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And the more they separate themselves from Yahweh Shai, the more they're going to be cursed and going to be destroyed at the end. And that's why you see our women, in the case, you see our families in the position that they are in now, man. They're in the self-destruct mode, following after the ways of Esau Edom. She considereth a field and buyeth it with the fruit of her hands, and planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with the strength, and strengthen her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth out. Her candle goeth not out by night. So that means she's working diligently for her family, man, for her household. Mainly her man being a helpmeet. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid to show her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings and tapestry, her clothing is silk and purple. And a lot of women, when they read Proverbs 31, especially this part, man, they scoff at it, man. It hurts their pride because they've been reared up in a way in this society, man, to be everything opposite of what the Bible's told them what they're supposed to be. And they go to these so-called church houses, man, and it's totally indoctrinate them into the ways of the world, man. Ties them more into the ways of the world, but separates them more from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, from their power and from what they're supposed to be doing. Her husband is known in the gates, and when he sitteth among the elders of the land, She maketh fine linen, and stretcheth up, and divideth girds unto the merchants. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she will rejoice in time to come. Because she's not looking for it here and now. No, she's not carnal minded. She's spiritually minded. So her reward is always going to come. Eventually it's going to come. Let me read that again. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice time to come. So the women that are in this truth, man, that's holding on and that's enduring, I know it's a small percentage, especially here in Babylon the Great, man. You don't find that many women that's willing to be a proverbial 31 women in these days and time here in Babylon the Great. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. And our women now are no type of empathy, no type of passion, man. Our women here are taught to be mean. They're taught to be wicked, man. And that's why they've been reared up to be. You often hear family members talking about how mean she is. They look at it as a badge of honor. They boast about how mean they can be, man, how wicked they can be. And let's read that again. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. And our women today, man, lack all wisdom, man. All they do is speak off emotions. They go on the emotional rants, these tirades, and they act like, pretty much like a 9-year-old, 10-year-old child, man. Most women do not elevate past that level of emotional thinking, past the level of a 12-year-old child, man. And they stuck in that age group. So they might get all these college degrees and all those other things and these indoctrination centers, but still they're on the level of a 12-year-old child. And that's why they're supposed to have a man over to direct and help them guide their ways. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtually, but thou excelleth them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord Yahweh, she shall be praised. And the fear of the Lord Yahweh is doing what the Lord has required of you to do, to be a helpmate to your man. That's not saying that you are a slave, but that's saying that you are obedient to your man. You're obedient to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh, to your Lord. Being a helpmate, not being not being a busybody, not being a pester to your man, not trying to destroy your man, not working against your man, not being a partner to your man, but you're supposed to be a helpmeet. Because women have this idea of thinking that they're supposed to be a partner to a man, and that a man's supposed to do everything to make her happy in this society, man. That shows you how this world has flipped the Bible around, man, how flipped the words of our Lord around. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. And that's what a proverbial 31 woman is going to be, man. Because by her works, it's going to stand out, man. And she's going to be greatly rewarded and exalted, man, in our new world to come, man. These proverbial 31 women. And they do exist. Not many here in Babylon the Great, but outside, a lot of in these other nations, man, where they still stick to a lot of the traditional ways, man. The further that they are separated from Babylon the Great, you might find some more proverbial 31 type women. But here in Babylon the Great, man, our women has been totally infected with that apple, man. There's philosophies of these devils, of Esau, Edom. But that's pretty much it, man. I want to kind of pretty much leave it there. Lord, will this lesson was edifying with that. Say shalom.